Welcome back to the High Vibe Life podcast with me, your host, Moira Casaba.
This episode is going to be a little bit different. This is not a mindset episode. It's not a strategy episode. It's not even a here are 3 things to think about or do episode. This is a call to action because if I'm being really honest, I think there's a lot of us that are stuck in a funk right now. And not a dramatic, everything is falling apart kind of funk, just that low level heaviness, flat, I often call it, disconnected, feeling uninspired. You're doing all the things, but something feels off. And when that happens, what do we usually do? I assume I need to do more work on myself, right? I'm like, okay, I got to get to yoga more. I got to get back to more journaling. I need to do more mindset work, listen to another podcast, read another book, hire another therapist. I lean in to the personal work. And I think that's so important. And I am not discounting any of that. I often talk about these 3 different buckets of work we have to do. It's called the dream work, which is really the vision, the goal casting, all of that kind of pre-work before we go into life. I always say you got to step out of your life to work on your life till you go back into your life with a new dream, a new goal, a new vision. That's the dream work. The daily work is really the habits, right? The things that we need to hold ourselves accountable to day in and day out. And then there's the deep work. The deep work is the therapy work, the shadow work, the going to a 4-day intensive seminar work, right? So there's the dream work, the daily work, and the deep work. And what I want to talk to you about today doesn't really fall into any of those buckets. We just have such a tendency to dig deeper or analyze harder, or for most of us, overthink. But here's the truth that doesn't get talked about enough. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes going inward just keeps you trapped inside your own head. Sometimes self-work turns into self-obsession. Sometimes reflection turns into this rumination over and over and over. You're overthinking, you're overanalyzing, you're over talking about it, right? And sometimes the reason you still feel off isn't because you haven't done enough work on yourself. Here it is. Here's the drum roll. It's because we need to do the opposite and shift outward. Here's the reframe I want to offer you today. What if the answer isn't doing more for yourself? What if the answer is doing more for someone else, right? This is the magic formula that you could possibly be missing if you're like me and you get a little self-absorbed, self-obsessed sometimes, right? When you're stuck in a funk, when motivation is low, when life feels heavy, joy feels muted, there's nothing more powerful than service. Giving back, getting involved, rallying your people, serving others. And guys, I don't mean this in some fluffy, spiritual, bypassing way. I mean it in a very real, grounded, practical way because service creates movement. Service, when we're talking about the brain, cuts off the self-obsessive brain, right? It puts us on another neural pathway. And movement, when we create movement from service, movement changes everything. When you're serving someone else, you're interrupting that constant loop of thinking about yourself. You break the cycle of what is wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? Service pulls you out of your own head and back into life. It changes your nervous system. It shifts your perspective. It reminds you that yes, you matter, but you matter in the lives of other people. Nothing will rewire your brain faster than realizing that you matter to someone else. And here's something else that's important. This isn't meant to be a solo act. This is where you rally your friends, you rally your family, you involve your kids. This is where you bring your people with you because service isn't just about helping others. It's about modeling what a meaningful life actually looks like. It's crazy to me that I can forget this because when I think about my dad and the example he raised us with and the legacy he left, the two things he gave me. It is all about family and it is all about service. Those were the two mountains that man stood on. And guys, I can't tell you how many times I have gone on trips across the country, across the world, self-reflecting. What's wrong with my life? Where am I going? What's my next calling? And it's like in the stillness, it always brings me back to, it's not about you. Your next calling, Moira, is service. Get more involved with the things that mean something to you, whether that's the homeless in your backyard. You don't need to go on a mission trip, y'all. I love mission work. Don't get me wrong. That is amazing, but we do not need to go on a mission trip across the world that takes 6-9 months of planning when we can go down tomorrow night and serve the people in need in our backyard, right? There is so much need in this world that is right in front of us. This is where I want you to go. This is what I want you to take action on literally today, right? And don't overcomplicate this. Don't overthink it. Just take the action and start somewhere. Call any organization, any agency in your area. You know, for some of you guys, it might be, gosh, I think about the things for me. It's always getting more involved with alcoholics and drug addicts and recovery and just getting like deep, getting my hands dirty in that work, right? Bringing meetings into institutions and recovery centers and jails, you know, volunteering more for the goodness of, you know, the diabetes organizations that were trying to solve that crisis for our children, right? Those things are so near and dear to my heart. But I can also serve in so many ways, right? It can be cooking a meal for someone who's going through a hard season. It's showing up where help is needed. Maybe it's a handwritten note. When is the last time you took the time to say hi and chat with your neighbor? Guys, how many of our neighbors do we not even know, right? And when it comes to parenting, this is how we teach our kids purpose, right? And what matters. This is how we build connection. This is how we remember what actually matters. And before your brain jumps to excuses, let me say this clearly. I kind of said it earlier, but it doesn't have to be big, right? You don't need to start a nonprofit. You don't need to have some perfectly organized plan. You don't even need permission. You can text someone right now. You can create time and space for a phone call to a family member that would give anything to just chat with you for 20 minutes. Just ask yourself, how can I help? Where can I serve? Small acts create massive internal shifts, right? And here's the part I really want you to hear. If you're in a funk, stop asking what's wrong with you. Ask who needs you. Because our purpose isn't found in thinking more. It's found through action. So here's your call to action. In the next 24 hours, do one thing of service for someone else. One thing that's not about you. One thing that creates movement. And if you can, bring someone with you. Rally your family or a friend and do it together. Because action creates emotion, not the other way around. You don't have to think your way out of a funk. You can move your way out. And I'll leave you with this. You don't find yourself by going inward forever. You find yourself by showing up. So when life feels heavy, serve. That, my friends, is the way out. I hope this episode hit home for you guys today. I hope you share it with a friend. Message me and let me know how it resonated with you. I would love to hear the one thing, even if it's a text message, hello to your neighbors, whatever it is from small to big. I would love to hear what you are doing to serve. And I will see you next week.